1, 2, 3, 4. Those are numbers, but you already knew that. If you want to know what number you're going to pay each month for your car, use Kelly Blue Book My Wallet on Auto Trader. They're really good at numbers. Auto Trader.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Unequal.
Whoa, Dave.
Not
We've
again.
done it. We've done this one this week.
No, come on. It's getting silly now. This is Unequal Sequel Extra. You remember?
Oh, yeah. Extra.
And this is, again, a very special podcast because we're doing our first, and I'm not quite sure how to make this exciting, but it's called The Ranking.
Oh, The Ranking.
That's very good. I might use that.
Yeah, we need to get, what's his name? Who's the guy that does it? Red Pepper.
The voiceover guy, I would have called him.
Yeah, he's the guy that goes, In a world.
Well, there's too many cars and they go fast and furious. Yeah, and we're going to be ranking the Fast and Furious, which is now called the Fast and Furious Saga.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. We're going to be ranking each one from worst to best. Mm-hmm. Our least favourite to our most favourite. We might not agree. We might have to have some deviations. But this is all in homage of Fast and Furious 9, which is coming out tomorrow. I will be there watching it. First showing. And Dave, you're watching it the weekend.
I'm going Saturday with the wife. Yes, she's a massive fan as well.
So we are going to do a nice little review of Fast 9 for the next extra.
I'm guessing you're a fan of Fast and Furious.
I love Fast and Furious movies. I've loved Fast and Furious since the first one in 2001, which was basically Point Break with cars. So what was not to like? Now, I've been a big car nerd basically my whole life, and I've been to lots and lots of races, lots and lots of like car meets and things like that. I have never ever seen one that looks like anything in Fast and Furious.
No?
I've never been to any of these ones that have scantily clad women anywhere. 3 blokes in Rain Max normally.
Yeah, that's true.
But hey, maybe that's the difference between LA and, Luton.
Do you remember the magazine Max Power? Is that still a thing?
I used to get Max Power, and I used to get Revs as well. There used to be a magazine called Revs.
You were fully in it, weren't you then?
Oh yeah.
Did you used to hang out in a car park with the boot open, playing big tunes?
Occasionally that might have happened.
Oh
yeah.
my god. You cool guy.
Yeah.
You're a bit older than me, so when this came out in did you say 2001?
2001, I was 20.
Yeah, I was about 16.
2001, it was kind of the height of my car racing kind of journey.
What car did you have?
I had a Porsche 924.
Bloody hell.
I know. Metallic brown with a brown interior. Literally, it was just a sea of brown. It was a 70s Porsche. Poor man's Porsche, because most of the switchgear and stuff comes off of a Golf.
Right.
Porsche's first front engine car, I think. And it had pop-up lights. I love the pop-up lights.
They sound cool.
Yeah, which are really cool, except for when they stop working and only one pops up and the other one pops up halfway, which mine did. Looks like it's sort of like squinting.
What happens to the Porsche? Because you certainly don't have one now.
No, I don't have one now. The Porsche, I think it was failed its MOT and I couldn't afford to get it fixed because I was a student. I sold it to my friend.
So you were fully into this?
Yeah. I was racing in the Ford Credit Fiesta Championship, I think, at this point. Me and my friends we had a Fiesta and going out racing.
Doesn't sound cool when you say you're racing a Fiesta, but I'm sure.
I know. It really wasn't very cool either. So yeah, I'm fully into Fast and Furious. I love it.
I'm a big fan as well. I enjoy the first one. We'll get into our rankings in a sec. Yeah, it's amazing that it's lasted that long now. How many years is that?
20.
I think it was 20 years this week, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. It's 20. Isn't it 20 years tomorrow? That's why Fast 9's coming out tomorrow.
And what a ride, and how it's
Boom.
Evolved from nicking DVD players to what it is now when they're possibly going into space. So.
Yeah, they're stealing DVD players, whereas now you can't give them away.
So, shall we go into it?
Yes, definitely. I want to know your least favourite Fast and Furious movie, Dave.
My least favourite is Too Fast, Too Furious.
Everyone's least favourite. I absolutely agree with you. Too Fast, Too Furious, 2003 sequel, the worst of all of them. And I still like it. I don't care it's the worst movie. I still like it. But it does a brilliant thing. it introduces to Tyrese Gibson and to Ludacris. You know, absolutely.
No one remembers his name.
Oh, I do know his name, and I can't remember it. It's like no, I can't remember his name. You're right. It's just Ludacris. It's just Ludacris. That's all.
It is just Ludacris. I just don't enjoy the storyline. I don't enjoy the script. I don't enjoy no Vin Diesel. I don't enjoy most of it. I don't like how... I was about to say it has some redeeming features, but I can't actually remember it. And I watched it pretty recently.
Yeah, there are good bits in it. Tyrese being hungry the whole way through is good. Is funny. And I mean, I don't hate it like you do. A ludicrous storyline. Yeah, I know the pun there, pun intended. Yeah, it's got a big Vin Diesel size hole in it, but it's all right. It's got its merits. I like Eva Mendes. She is awesome.
Yeah, okay.
And stunningly beautiful. I think Cole Hauser as the baddie, as Carter Verone, is menacing, and I think I'm now struggling. There's a scene where the bad guy puts a rat on a dirty cop's stomach, essentially, puts a bucket on top of the rat, heats the bucket up until the rat starts biting through the cop's stomach. That is cool. That is a cool torture method.
Also, it has the first maybe crazy Fast and Furious moment where they drive a car at a boat, as in the jump. That's quite cool.
Yeah, that is quite cool.
So is this your worst one?
Yeah, it's definitely my worst one. Absolutely my worst one. As you can tell, I still quite like it. I saw it at the cinema, and yeah, I still enjoy it. I saw it as a good movie, even though it's the worst of the saga.
What's your second? What's just above that?
I think probably 4. It's just above that.
Okay.
Because I know a lot of people would put Tokyo Drift next, but I have a bit of love for Tokyo Drift. So I would put 4, which is that The Fast and the Furious? Or that?
I think it's just Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious, that one, yeah.
And that was the one where it's been away from me years, and Vin Diesel suddenly signed up for it, and Paul Walker's in it, and Joada Barosta, and Michelle Rodriguez, and Paul Walker's back being a cop. That is actually not my second to last one. Tell me why it's down there. Oh, really?
Oh, okay. I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of... They're doing a lot of the same stuff again. I feel like a bit of a rehash of the first one a little bit. And it's got Gal Gadot in it. She comes into it, doesn't she?
Gal Gadot, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of... A 4 just feels a little flat for me.
It did its job, because it reinvented the characters, actiony, to the present day, induced a new wave of audience to the film as well, to the franchise after Tokyo Drift. I think it's pleasant.
Well, do you think? I thought 5 did that. I thought bringing The Rock in kind of saved the franchise.
It did, but they had to get it back on tracks first before you can go quite ludicrous as it did.
True.
I've got 4 just above this, my next choice, I've got 2, and then I go 8. And then number 4.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay.
Which was The Fate of the Furious.
The Fate of the Furious, right.
Which does have good points, like The Rock's in it, and he punches a missile at one point, and there's a submarine.
I don't understand how this is so low. It's when the team is at its peak.
No.
Well, no, it's not. It's past its peak because Paul Walker's
exactly.
gone. Yeah.
It's missing Paul Walker, and it's got the whole Vin Diesel, Rock can't be on the same screen at the same time kind of problem.
Yeah, true. I mean, 8 is not high for me. 8 comes, I think, 4th from bottom for me.
I reckon Tokyo Drift's next on yours then.
Tokyo Drift's next on mine, yeah. I think also missing from 4, another reason that 4 feels like a backward step to me is that like Tyrese and Ludacris are missing. I know they're not part of the gang until 5, but it felt like there was an opportunity there to bring them into part of the gang. In 4.
I don't think you could have loaded the deck that early on. I think they did the right thing of, again, like reintroducing, like, hey, we're back, we're fast and we're furious, and they've stepped it up a little bit above DVD players. You know, there's now drug runs in number 4, and it's got that wicked chase through the tunnels, which I still don't understand how it's physically possible to drive that quick through tunnels.
Oh yeah, there's the tunnels. I'd forgotten about the tunnels. Actually, that is quite nice. Actually, I quite like.
And they got a street race with the sat nav, which brings it like a little bit nearer to the future. It's fun, and like you said, Gal Gadot's in it. It's got introduces a good bad guy, which maybe is the first time in the series that has a decent bad guy, and it has a bit of a mystery about who the bad guy is. And it's also the first time, I'm about to say it goes out of America, but that's not true, because Tokyo Drift definitely went out of America.
Yeah, Tokyo Drift is definitely out of America. So yeah, it's John Ortiz, isn't it? It's Braga. Braga's the bad guy, although he's Campos, I think is the name he uses
Exactly.
all the way through it. He's like Braga's like left-hand man,
Yeah.
right-hand man. It turns out he's the baddie all
Crazy.
along. I can see why 4 wouldn't be your second worst, because I don't think it's a bad film, but it just, I don't know, missed it a little bit for me.
We have to talk about Tokyo Drift and the Fate of the Furious.
So, Tokyo Drift, don't get me wrong, I like Tokyo Drift. I know a lot of people hate on Tokyo Drift, again, because there's very little Vin Diesel, there's none of the characters. It was sort of made as a spin-off almost, wasn't it? So, almost like Hobbs and Shaw. Han is amazing, and I love him. Like, he's called Han Solo, for God's sake. I just quite like Tokyo Drift. I think Tokyo Drift was the first one I watched and thought it introduced a new type of racing to me, because I don't really knew anything about drifting or anything before that. I kind of really appreciate Tokyo Drift for like introducing that.
Yeah, I just thought it was really fun, Tokyo Drift, and different.
Just really stylish.
This is the first one when James won.
Yeah.
And he did most of all the backlot, and he just added so much freshness to it, and he updated it, and it looks cool, and Tokyo looks amazing. I really enjoy it. Lucas Black, the main actor, isn't the greatest of leading men.
No.
Obviously, the Vin Diesel cameo at the end, which I didn't see coming.
So what I like to do, which is the nerd that I am, is I like to watch... I don't watch Tokyo Drift as the third movie. I watch Tokyo Drift... I watch 20 minutes of 7... and then I watch Tokyo Drift, and then I watch the rest of 7.
Audience, you can't see me rolling my eyes, but I can't believe the man's done that. Yeah, I like how they squeeze that in. Like, how can we make Tokyo Drift relevant? And then they did that. You know what? It's genius. It's absolute genius.
It works. It really works. Because that's the other thing I love about these Fast and Furious movies, is that they just go straight from one into the other. If you binge watch all of them, literally one ends on the exact shot that the next one starts
What year do you think it's meant to be in Fast and Furious world? I can't work it out.
Oh, God.
Is it still like 2007?
I don't know. Yeah, nondescript mid-2000s.
But the technology is now above that.
Yeah.
Like God's Eye and the phones, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think we're meant to
I've
think
not thought
about
about
it. It's
that.
quite interesting to see that both our bottom fours are the same, just a little bit different.
And I think that's because we've got a relatively decent judge on what makes a good movie.
So mine is 2, 8, 4 and 3. And you are 2, 4, 3 and 8. So why do you like number 8 so much?
It's not that I like it so much. It's just I really enjoy it.
It is really silly.
It's really silly. Like, I love the fight in the prison. I love the banter between Hobbs and Shaw. You know, the bit where they almost become friends in the garage, where Hobbs says, "I'm gonna punch you so hard that you're I can't remember. You have to stick a toothbrush up your ass to brush your teeth," kind of thing. And they have a little snigger about that. It almost looks like they're actually really laughing at each other. Everyone hates on Charlize Theron as the baddie. But I think she's a great baddie.
Look, I ain't got no problem with it, but I really enjoyed Statham as a bad guy.
Yeah.
I like Hobbs and Shaw. It's fun when him and The Rock. But him being a good guy, suddenly a good guy in the 8th one, and then you're bringing in the bloody family, and then Owen Shaw turns up on the plane at the end, who was so good in being the bad guy in number 6.
Yeah, that's true.
It's trying to retcon too much too early for me. But you're right, Prison Escape is good. There's more Kurt Russell, I guess.
I like Kurt Russell as well.
Kurt Russell in anything is just a winner for me. I have to say, when I say I put Too Fast, Too Furious at the bottom of a pile, Too Fast, Too Furious is still better than a lot of films. I still really enjoy them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We get Ramsey as well. Is this the first one with Ramsey?
No,
Ramsey's did it before,
she gets introduced in the 7th.
Yeah, and we get more of Elena, who is always great.
Oh yes, because Vin Diesel's baby. That's the whole time period. So has the baby in the 8th. The baby's already born, but in 7. There's no sign of baby. And she gets blown out of a window with a rock, and that definitely wouldn't be good for a baby. So I just wonder when it happened. And again, I'm not meant to think about this, am I, for Fast and Furious? Because no one's got any answers.
You're thinking about it too deeply.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I think that this whole world starts to unravel if you start to think about it too deeply. 99% of the stuff they do in these cars is fucking impossible in real life. So do not think about this too deeply. The problem with 8 again is there's a big hole in it, isn't there? It's a big
Walker.
We're all missing Paul Walker in number 8, and this is why I'm thinking maybe 9 might be a bit kind of, that might have healed over by now. That might not be missing anymore. But I think I might miss The Rock instead.
So what's next for you?
It's hard now. It gets pretty hard now. But it is between 6 and 7. and I can't choose.
You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to choose.
Which,
you're gonna have to
goes
choose.
Which? Ah, no. 6, then I think.
The second time that I agree, I've also got number 6 and number. Why midpoint? It's fun, isn't it? Number 6. It comes to London.
Yeah, it's fun. It comes to London. We meet Owen Shaw.
Letty's back.
That twist is quite nice. Apparently, Michelle Rodriguez didn't realise she was going to be back in this movie until she saw the spoiler bit at the end of Fast Five. Or in the cinema. She was in the cinema watching Fast Five, and they went, "Oh, hang on, am I in this?"
Amazing. Oh, imagine finding out that way. The only problem I have with this film is the longest runway in the world at the end.
Yeah,
but again,
that's true.
It's Fast and Furious madness, and it's a great set piece. When the explodes and Vin Diesel drives his car through the front of the airplane, and it's great.
And what was 6 called? Was it Fast and Furious?
No, I think Fast 6 is just called Fast 6.
Oh, it's called Fast 6, is it?
Who knows at this point? Honestly, I think this is the only one I didn't see in the cinema, and maybe Tokyo Drift I didn't see in the cinema.
No, I definitely did see Tokyo Drift in the cinema. I don't think I saw this one in the cinema either. I think you're right. There you go. That's why I'm putting it below 7, just because the title's not as good.
There you go.
Now, this is divisive these days, but when I first watched it, Gina Carano was definitely a draw, shall we say, to watching this movie. But yeah, now, very divisive.
Yeah.
And the less said about that, the better. This has got the best. Has this got the best cast, do you think? Is Luke Evans the best baddie as Owen Shaw?
I would put 7 as a better cast.
Would you?
But then 7
Depp
doesn't have as much Rock. So this is probably a nice balance of The Rock, Vin Diesel, a decent bad guy. Oh, it's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it is tough. But yeah, I mean, I think Luke Evans is a great baddie.
So do I.
I think that's a really good. That's a really good shout. Fast 6. We agree. So what about you? Why?
Because it's
Fast
better than the
6
rest, but it's not as good as the top 3.
Well, that's obvious, Dave. Thanks for stating the complete obvious there.
Just because I don't think it's strong. Again, the plane thing really annoyed me at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably knocks it down
one. For you.
And the next one I put above this, I think you've got 7.
I think I've got 7 next, yeah.
I've got 1.
Oh, really? Okay. So 7 is Fast and Furious, just Fast and Furious 7, is it? Or is that the Fate of the Furious?
Different countries have different
Furious
names.
7.
It's called Furious somewhere. But for me...
You're right, yeah.
7... is truly bonkers, and I love it.
You're right. It is absolutely bonkers. I think the thing about 7 for me, 7 has got great bits and bad bits. It's 7's where we meet Deckard, isn't it?
Plus.
So Jason Statham comes in at 7, so that's a really good plus, and he's a really sinister baddie. It's where Paul Walker dies halfway through filming,
which is handled so brilliantly at the end.
Which is handled really, really well. Like the shot of Vin Diesel's car going off in one direction and Paul Walker's car going off in the other direction just absolutely breaks my heart every time.
Yeah, I watched that at a screening in Stratford, and I've never seen so many men cry. Like I've seen.
I'm not surprised.
And there was a round of applause, and it was really random for a Saturday night in Stratford. Just a whole audience just applauding a Fast and Furious film, and everyone's crying. Everyone knew it was going to happen. It's well, obviously you knew that he died filming it, and they,
yeah,
it's sad.
It also felt a bit clunky in places, and I feel bad criticising it.
They dropped cars from aeroplanes. It's brilliant.
Yeah, they did drop cars from aeroplanes. It is brilliant. All these films are brilliant, and I'm saying it's my 3rd favourite.
That's true.
I'm not saying it's bad. It just feels like they had to shoehorn things to make up for his absence, to make up for Paul Walker not being there. There are just a couple of bits that don't quite fit together.
Like, what bits are they for you?
And that's why it's 3rd and not 2nd, I think.
Okay, and what bits are clunky?
They're tiny. They're absolutely tiny. So there's a bit where they've just jumped across from one building to the other in Abu Dhabi. Yeah. Oh, so it is really good. And Vin Diesel's like right on the edge, and he turns and says something to Paul Walker. But Paul Walker doesn't say anything back. It's just a shot of him looking at him, and it looks it's just a bit clunky. And there are a few little shots like that through it that are just ever so slightly clunky. And I absolutely forgive it, and I think they dealt with it incredibly well. I don't know. It just didn't quite, just by like a hair's
So what
breadth.
beat it? What's next for you?
The Fast and the Furious.
The first one?
The first movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
My number 2 was 7, so we're going to have the same number 1.
That is good, yeah. And I thought that would happen. I thought we'd have the same bottom one and the same top one.
And we did.
Which we did.
And the same middle one.
Yeah. And the same middle, yeah. Why does this get into second place for you then?
For me, they cranked up the craziness with 5, and then they cranked it up a little more with 6. And by the time we got to 7, it's gone full throttle nuts. The scene of dropping the cars out of the plane, I enjoy so much when Roman, he just won't go, so they put like a parachute on his car and fire him out without him wanting to be there. I think it's just great, and I like when they go to Abu Dhabi. I like the bit of the jumping around all the place. I like the chemistry between all the cast. You know, you've got the harm dying in the middle of it. Yeah, it's just, I think as a film, I think it plays really nicely, and really enjoyable, and really silly.
Oh yeah, it is. It's kind of everything you want from Fast and Furious. Actually, is that it's crazy action, it's ridiculously funny, and you don't have to think about it. And if you do think about it, it slaps you because you can't. Because it's just everything that happens is completely impossible.
My main negative is probably not enough Rock, but at that point he's the biggest film star in the world, and they have to try and squeeze him in somewhere. So they put him in the beginning and the end.
This was the point where they were. Is this where Vin Diesel and The Rock were falling out as well?
Well, I think the falling out happened in the 6th at some point, but yes, this is the one when they weren't apparently talking at all or being on set with each other.
Which again made it feel slightly clunky for me because that just like you say, they just couldn't be on set together, so it makes it awkward.
Yeah,
but yeah, so this is your second favourite, and your third favourite is the original one.
The original one.
The first one for me, I was like, just opens the whole franchise. It's brilliant. It's Point Break with cars, which spoke to 20-year-old me very strongly. Because I loved Point Break, absolutely loved that as a movie, and I loved Cars, and adding the two together, what's not to like?
I can understand, yeah.
Before this, I think Paul Walker had been like teenage rom-commy type thing, and I think that's where
I can remember him in Varsity Blues, and that's about it.
Yeah, like I can't think of him in much else other than kind of like, you know. And Vin Diesel was what? I think he'd been in Pitch Black, hadn't he, by this point?
He had some, Pitch Black, and I think Saving Private Ryan as well.
He wasn't in that very much, though, was he?
No, but it's still a good performance. And there's Pitch Black. There was just rumblings about this guy who might be the next action star. And then it was a 1-2 punch between Pitch Black and this, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, Pitch Black was great as well, wasn't it? That was an absolutely fantastic movie. And then this, and then obviously Triple X that he went into as well.
I forgot about the horrible Triple X. Let's not talk about Triple X.
But that comes later. I think that's he doesn't do 2 Fast 2 Furious. No, he didn't do 2 because he was doing Triple X, I think. Yeah,
and then he turned up in the third one because the only way he would do that if who was it? Is it Universal?
Oh yeah, Universal gave him the rights to Riddick. Yeah. So he owns the rights to Riddick now, basically. So that's a clever bit of business, I reckon. So that's why Fast and Furious fits in there for me.
Totally understandable.
Why is it not quite as good as 7 for you? Why does it?
Do you know what? I just don't think it's aged. It's going to age as well. I think the DVD players really hold it back. I'm not even really joking that much. It depends what you want from your Fast and Furious 1 is a very different film to Fast and Furious 5 or 7.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a much more serious movie, actually.
Yeah. If you want your Fast and Furious film serious, then this is going to be the only one you like, I can imagine. And it would be done really well, but I like mine a little bit more crazy and with a little bit extra of Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah, that's true.
And a little bit more crazy stunts. So that's why I put number 5 at number 1. Well, it's like a bank heist with cars. By the time we get to that point in the movie, then you're just grinning from ear to ear because you're having so much fun, and you thought, how have they done this from the 4 films that came before it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It is crazier, definitely.
I couldn't believe it the first time I saw Fast 5. I was like, I just didn't see this coming.
No, it's a completely different type of film, isn't it? Going from 1 to 5, I love them both equally, which is weird. The only thing I don't like about 1 is Ja Rule.
Ja Rule!
And I just don't like him as a rapper. And so it just puts me off a little bit, really. And apparently he was quite Hollywood. He was quite big time in the filming, which is why they didn't ask him back.
I read that they asked him back to do. I've just remembered Ludacris's name. They wanted him to be Tej in the second one. And he asked for too much money, and so they went, "Oh no, we'll get someone else." And they got Ludacris, and look now. I bet Ja Rule's gutted.
Yeah. And Jesse in his VW Passat or Jetta, getting shot. And then, do you know what happened to that Jetta? Frankie Muniz, for the Malcolm in the Middle, bought it and went racing with it.
Wow, the 2000s were another time, weren't they?
I know. It's so cool. Yeah. But yeah, so our top favourite of the whole franchise clearly is Fast 5, right?
Yeah. Why did you like it so?
Like you said, it was just like completely reinvented it. It's got a great mix of the old characters and new characters. It kind of brings all of those guys together. It introduces The Rock, who is awesome. That
is a big plus point. That is a massive plus point.
Yeah, I mean, it has a really kind of sinister baddie again in what's his name? Joaquin de Almeida or something. Almeida. There's Reyes, isn't it? The bad guy. Yeah, it kind of brings that ensemble class together. It brings Vince back from the first one.
Oh yeah,
he hates Paul Walker because he's kind of in love with Mia, and yeah, I like all that sort of story coming back. It's really cool. And again, we get Elena, who I think is great.
Yeah,
this is her first one, isn't it?
Yes.
And Brazil looks amazing, even though they didn't film a lot of it in Brazil. And the bank vault. Just I love the bank vault. I love the fact that they pulled a bank vault out of a police station with two, whatever they were, Chevys.
That's not possible, right?
No, do you know how they did that? The bank vault was actually a pickup truck. It was a drivable box.
Really?
Basically. Yeah, it was a pickup truck made to look like a bank vault, and there's somebody sat inside there driving it.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a fact, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy, but I love that. I really love that. And then putting it on the bin lorry to
the Ocean's 11 twist.
So good. It's such
so
a good
fun.
movie.
It's so
really
fun.
Is. Anyone who doesn't like this movie needs more joy in their life.
I know a lot of people that have watched, I don't like Fast and Furious, and they've maybe given up with 1 or 2, possibly 3. Or haven't watched it at all, and they really struggle for the first few, just because 1 maybe hasn't aged brilliantly, but once they get to 5, they're like, okay, I'm in now. You could just make anyone watch 5 and be like, okay, here you go, enjoy the next.
Absolutely,
and they'll have a great time.
And the great thing is, you don't have to have seen any of the others.
No.
You don't have to watch 1 to 4 to get 5. In fact, you definitely don't have to watch Tokyo Drift, because it doesn't happen till after 5 anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you could start at 5. If you don't think Fast and Furious is for you, start at 5.
I have got a question, though. Where would you put Hobbs and Shaw in this?
Now, I like Hobbs and Shaw. I do like it. I haven't watched it for a while, but I think I would probably put it middle-ish.
Yeah, I'd go middle-ish.
Bottom of the middle, maybe.
Like I said, it's fun.
It's fun, but it's not really a Fast and Furious movie.
No.
It doesn't have the cars so much. It doesn't have the... It doesn't feel quite the same.
This is a sequel podcast. Do you reckon they'll get a sequel to Hobbs and Shaw? Have they announced that? Or did it not do the money that they...
Don't think so, because I think there was a lot of hoo-ha about it happening in the first place.
Yeah.
And now Vin Diesel again owns quite a lot of sway, owns quite a bit of rights, I think, to Fast and Furious. I'm not sure he'd let that happen. But there are talk of other spin-offs. There's talk of a female-led spin-off.
Yeah. Well, apparently this is going to go to 11 now. That's not me doing a Spinal Tap joke. It actually is going to go to 11. Do you want to read your top 8s back again, and then I'll read mine?
Okay, so let me see if I can do it from memory. So, worst, Too Fast, Too Furious, but with an asterisk saying, I still love it. So, even if it's the worst in the list, still love it. Second was... Number 4. Third was Tokyo Drift. Third from bottom, Tokyo Drift. Fourth from bottom was number... 8. 8, of course. Sorry. 8 next. Then 6. Then 7. 1. And then Fast 5 was the best.
Mine was 2 at the bottom, but again, same asterisk as you. 2, 8, 4, 3, 6, 1, 7, 5. But that's all from the ranking. I hope you enjoyed it. Please listen to our other episodes of Unequal Sequel, where we interview guests about their best, worst, and dream sequel. We're on social media under @Unequal Sequel on Twitter and Instagram, and you can find us on all the podcasting platforms.
Yeah, all that stuff, what he just said, and
Lovely.
a cherry on top.
So that's all from me. Bye.
And that's all from me. Bye!